January 7th, 1998. A quiet, foggy morning in Beaumont, North Carolina. A 5-year-old girl named Brittany Locklear put on her favorite outfit, smiled at her mom, and walked down the driveway to wait for the school bus just like she always did. But this morning would be different. This morning, Brittany vanished, and her community would never be the same again. Brittany Locklear, lovingly called Little Brittany by her classmates, was the smallest kindergartner at West Hoke Elementary. But she was also one of the brightest lights in the room, known for her big hugs, big heart, and an even bigger smile. She lived with her mother, Connie Locklear Chavis, and her baby half-sister in a quiet rural neighborhood less than 30 miles from Fayetteville. That morning, Brittany and her mother picked out her clothes together: a green and white t-shirt, green denim overalls, tennis shoes, a green hair tie, and her Little Red Riding Hood winter coat. It was cold, still dark, but Brittany stood near the edge of the driveway, waiting for the bus. A routine they'd followed dozens of times before. But within minutes, Brittany was gone. At 7:00 a.m., Connie stepped inside briefly just for a moment. When she returned, her daughter was nowhere in sight. Frantic, she called the school, but Brittany had never arrived. And the horror set in. A call to 911 was made. And soon, neighbors came forward reporting they had seen a pickup truck screech to a stop near the Locklear home. A man jumped out, grabbed Brittany, and sped away. The unthinkable had happened. Within 2 hours, law enforcement found Brittany's clothes abandoned on a dirt road, just 2 miles from her home. But there was no sign of Brittany. On January 8th, just a day later, searchers made a grim discovery. Brittany's nude body was found in a drainage ditch 3 miles from her home. The autopsy report revealed something even more chilling. She had possibly been sexually assaulted and drowned. The small Lumbee community was devastated, and a mother's heart was shattered forever. Police questioned known sex offenders in a 50-mile radius. They collected evidence, followed tips, and yet the leads dried up. In 2002, a Fort Bragg firefighter was arrested on unrelated charges. A photograph of Brittany was discovered in his locker, but DNA from the crime scene ruled him out. The photo, it turned out, was a newspaper clipping. He was cleared. Years passed. But Brittany's case was never forgotten. Then finally, hope. In 2015, the Hoke County Sheriff's Office announced a major development. They had enough DNA evidence to create a full genetic profile of Brittany's killer. The door was now open for forensic genealogy technology that had solved dozens of cold cases before. But to this day, no match has been found. The profile exists, but the man behind it remains a ghost. For Brittany's mother, the wait has been agonizing. She's watched the case become a political talking point in local elections. She's seen promises made and broken. But she's never stopped fighting for justice, never stopped speaking Brittany's name. Her younger daughter, Brianna, just a toddler when Brittany died, grew up in a shadow of fear. She learned to shoot at age 3. She never waited for the bus alone. This isn't just about a case. It's about a stolen future and a stolen peace. Brittany Locklear's case is not an isolated tragedy. According to the CDC, Indigenous women and girls are murdered at rates 10 times higher than other groups. Murder is the 3rd leading cause of death for Indigenous women, and many of those crimes are never solved. More than 80% of Indigenous women experience violence. More than half experience sexual assault. Brittany was only 5 years old. More than 25 years later, there is still no arrest, no justice, no closure. But there is hope. With advances in DNA technology, and with voices refusing to go silent, the truth may still come to light. If you know anything, no matter how small, please contact the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-334-3000. This has been The Vanishing Point. We tell the stories of the lost because someone must.